Today, let's talk a little bit about basic knife sharpening. Let's get to it. What's up, everyone? PA Outdoors here. Let's have a little discussion about how to sharpen your blades. There's a lot of different products out there. Natural stones, ceramics, diamond, some synthetic materials, leather strops. Let's go over just some basics. Typically, you've got your stone. This is just a cheap Harbor Freight one. It has a fine on the top, course on that side. A couple things about these stones. Primarily you use them with some sort of lubricant, oil, water, and the key is if you start using, the first lubricant you use on your stone, if it's oil, the oil is going to soak into the stone because it's pretty porous. And once you do that, you're pretty much stuck using oil all the time. If you put water over it, water and oil don't mix. It just doesn't work out really well. So if you use oil, you always should use oil on that stone. Now, if you use water, that's a little easier, primarily because you don't always have access to any kind of cutting oil or something like that, but you always have spit, and spit's water. Spit works just fine. My dad used that method for years. So you have your stones, your Arkansas stones. A lot of times they're called wet stones, and it's not W-E-T, it's W-H-E-T, which, doing a little bit of research, actually is an old English term for sharpening. So wet stone really means sharpening stone. So there's that. And you have these guys, where you put your knife in it and you draw it through to restore the edge. I mean, these are fine for pocket knives or something that you just need to do get a quick edge on, to just do some utility type work, but I really don't like them. I don't recommend them. They just don't do a very good job. You have no control of the angle. Pretty much what that angle is what that angle is, and you're not going to change it. So if this is all you have, my recommendation is get rid of it and get something else. Other alternatives. This is a Smith's diamond sharpener. So in this guy you have a coarse side and a fine side. And this is diamond. It's going to last a long time. It doesn't require any kind of lubricant. The idea basically is you're going to put your blade down, you're going to find your angle, and you're going to the idea is basically you're just going to try and cut like a very thin slice off of this diamond stone. And usually what I do is I'll do about 5 swipes in each direction, and that does a very good job. This is actually my primary sharpener. I also have my field sharpener, which is a diamond stone, a coarse and a fine. It also has a very thin leather strop on it and some other features that are really, really nice. But that will quickly put a really nice edge on the knife. Other things are, this is a ceramic rod. You can find steel rods, you can find diamond rods. And this basically goes along the ideas of, you see chefs with the long steel and they're back and forth, and it's just the same. Find your angle, and you're just gonna, that kind of idea. And they also do a very, very good job. I like this one. It's pretty small, portable. I can just toss it in my pack. So after you've gone through the whole process of, if you've got a really dull knife, you'll start with the coarse, work to the fine again. Just trying to shave off a thin slice of that stone. And what you're doing is you're removing some metal off of the steel, but you're also rolling the edge over. So as you are sharpening like this, you're rolling the edge up this way. And then when you flip it over, you're going to roll it up the other way. So how do you get rid of that rolled edge? That is where a strop comes into play. This is a leather paddle strop that I made myself. And I went back and forth with the different colors of polishing compounds you can put on these, and the decision of whether having suede, having the hard leather. And after doing a little bit of research and actually talking to the people at LT Wright Knives, their recommendation for stropping their knives is you have the suede side, the rough kind of fuzzy side, that you'll put black sharpening or black polishing compound on. And then you'll have the outside of the leather, the kind of the hard, shiny side, and you put green polishing compound on that. The black is a little more abrasive and it will sharpen a knife. The green is purely a polishing compound. So I'm going to move this camera and I'm going to show you how I strop a knife. Okay, using the black side. Now, you know, sharpening, you're basically trying to do a cutting stroke. Stropping is just the opposite. You're going to draw the knife away from the edge. So you're actually trying to take that roll off. And you're just going to follow the contour of the blade. I do this same way, usually 5 strokes in each direction. And that takes that rolled edge off and really puts a really nice sharp finished edge on that. And then you can follow that up with using the green side. Same method. Get your angle. And just pull it towards you. And that just finishes up with a little bit of a polish on that edge, and you're good to go. And as far as stropping, like I said, I made this paddle strop. You can easily use your belt, especially if you're just out in the field and that's all you have, a leather belt. I've even seen guys use their leather sheath, depending on how it's situated. You've got the suede side on this belt loop here. You've got the hard leather where you could, draw it down if you needed to do that. So that's an option. So that's how I sharpen my blades. Typically my work sharp field sharpener is always in my pack. That's, like I said, that's similar to this. It's a diamond stone with a very thin strop with green compound on it. And strops themselves come in all different shapes and sizes. I've seen them narrow and very long. I made this one. I also made this one here, just a little, it's the same leather size, just a little simpler design, little leather lanyard there. Same thing, I don't know how well that's going to show up. Suede side, the leather side. So that's just a little very quick and very basic knife sharpening, whether it be stone like an Arkansas stone or a Japanese water stone, ceramics, diamond, whatever you use, just practice with it. Now there is one system, there's a couple systems. There's an electric sharpener like the Work Sharp power sharpener. I don't own one of those. I've never used it. And then there's another setup which I have and I couldn't find. It's a Lansky system, and basically the way that works is it's got a clamp, and it clamps the blade like this, and then it has like ears that go out on each side with slots in them, and then stones that are attached to rods. I know it's a little hard to picture, but basically you've got the knife clamped like this. There we go. And the blades come down through these slots at different angles depending on what angle you want to put on your blade, and the same thing, you just kind of draw it down, draw it down, flip it over to this side, and same thing, draw it down, draw it down. That's the Lansky system. Smith also makes their version of that. I have one of those. That was my primary sharpening system for a long, long time. But the more I've gotten into hand sharpening, the more I've enjoyed it. I feel like I can do a little bit better of a fine tuning of an edge, and you can really, and you know, you're not locked into certain angles like you are with that Lansky system. Most knives have a micro bevel, meaning you've got your basic, you know, angle of the cut, and then at the very tip there's a micro bevel, and that's what you're cleaning up. The exception would be a true Scandi grind, where you need to really get that angle just perfect and hold it at all times. Because if you go too deep, you're going to put a convex edge on it, and if you go too shallow, you're never actually going to touch the edge itself. So, you know, some people say that Scandi's a little harder to sharpen, and that may be true because you need to be much more precise in your angle when you're sharpening and stropping. But it just takes a little bit of practice. So, I mean, that's all I've got for you on this end as far as sharpening. If you have any sharpening techniques that you enjoy doing, please post them in the comment section below. Again, these, you know, get rid of them and just get a better method. You can buy, I think this one here, like I said, this is one I use most of the time, and you can pick this up for, I think, $15, $12, something like that. It's not very expensive at all, and it's a great diamond sharpener. You can pick up, you know, stones anywhere from, like I said, I got this from Harbor Freight. I use this usually only on my axes and hatchets, but I mean like $5, and you can get Japanese water stones for, I've seen them for hundreds of dollars. It's pretty crazy. This was made by a friend of mine, and I've seen the ceramic blanks like $10 at like gun and knife shows. So you can make that, glue your own handle on, whatever you wanted to do. And again, strops, I've seen strops, most strops are typically $20 to $30. A lot of times that comes with a compound. You can find compound lots of different places online. Harbor Freight even sells compound that seems to work pretty well. So there you go. This is PA Outdoors. Please like, share, comment, subscribe to my channel. Get outdoors, enjoy yourself, but remember, be safe out there, especially when you're sharpening your knives.